Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky 194, and I appreciate you taking the time to visit and check out my video. And you're going to get basically the same kind of introduction here on the beginning of this video. I just wanted to explain before we get started. We're here at Zandvoort, and the video was too long, so I had to kind of split it up. And so I just wanted to let everybody know there'll be 3 parts, and this is part 1. And of course, this is a complete setup guide to the AMG here at Zandvoort. And basically, part 1 is, when I get started testing the aggressive. Part 2 is actually the longer part, going through and testing doing all the setup work on getting the car dialed in, and then part 3 will be the hot stint afterwards. So I just want to split it up and let y'all know what's coming, so y'all can see it, look for it, and explain. It doesn't say that in the video because I thought I could just make it one big video, but unfortunately it just doesn't want to work out that way. It's too long. So anyway, I hope you check it all out. And again, any comments or feedback and thumbs up and subscribe would be great. And I sure appreciate it. So let's get her started. Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky 194, and appreciate you stopping by, checking out my video. And doing something a little different today. Haven't done in a while, and I'm even going to try to expand further on it. I had a request for a setup for the AMG EVO here at Zandvoort, but we're going to take it one step further, maybe a couple steps further. We're basically going to, I just got done doing a 30-minute hot stint with the aggressive setup. So we're going to go over that kind of like we always do, and we're going to go just take a look at the setup as far as just mainly the tire wear, because all the other stuff we're going to go through anyway. But basically, we're going to just go through a few things on this hot stint. Then we're going to go ahead and do go through the whole setup and work on it and see what we can get out of it, what we can gain. And then after the end, we're going to do a hot stint. And of course, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the hot stint, and after I'm done, I'll come back. And then we'll kind of go over the hot stint, how that went. And so I thought it would be fun and a little bit different, and kind of show you a lot of the things that I go through as far as setting these things up. And maybe you can pick up on it. Of course, every car is different. That's a given. But so let's start here with the timetables. Now, we're going to remember this number. It's 30 minutes and 39 seconds, 0.507, and it's 19 laps. So that's one of the numbers that I always keep track of. And so then when I do a hot stint later, I want to see, have I gained anything? First, did I was I able to reach 19 laps? And if I did I gain anything, or did I gain another? So that's the main thing. So we're going to go back and then take a look at the replay. And basically, we're just going to look at a couple laps. Let's jump inside the car here. It's doing about 156 to 157 miles an hour down the straightaway until I hit the brakes. .157 was best, usually about 156. Now, and we'll go through a few things on the setup that I did change, as far as just all the things that I want equal, so they both have equal chances to compare. I mean, it's like fuel. I put 80 liters on this, just like I have 80 liters on mine. So things like that I change to give the aggressive the best I can, as far as trying to get the best I can get out of it. Just like doing the tires, I get all the tires at the correct pressure. So I really spend a lot of time, and I even spent a little extra time with this one because I wanted to really try to improve my driving with what I had. So So what the car was giving me. So I was really trying to improve everything I could to get everything I could get out of it with just whatever the aggressive was. And I got a pretty, decent time, really. So it'll be interesting to see if we can improve upon it, because the time is, not bad, especially for having, that much fuel. It's a 136.03. That's, not a bad time. Really for an aggressive setup, in my opinion. So let's go and just show. I'm gonna show the second to last lap. So I kind of blew the last one. See, the lap was 137.10, so we've lost about a second, which isn't terrible. Now, and that's another thing I'm also doing. I'm kind of backing on the bias on the rear brake, trying to get it to help it rotate a little bit, to try to get the best performance out of what I got. Just like I do when I do my setups. I mean, I think it's decent. I think it's not a bad setup for just something you can throw on there and go. I don't, it's all right. But, the things I see are pretty typical as far as, with the negative camber. I don't like the way it feels. It doesn't have a ton of negative camber, but it has a little more than what the AMG usually has that I run. And it just feels like you're rolling over it's not, but it feels like you're turning, and then all of a sudden it'll grab and you turn really good. I mean, it's not linear, and I don't like that. I mean, it's really hard to judge it to where the car doesn't snap, and you get a snap oversteer or something like that. And then near the end, like right now, these last few laps, the car just started understeering pretty bad, especially right here in this last corner right here. It's understeering pretty good. So, and to where you can turn it and all that, but you're scrubbing speed because you're turning harder and harder, to get it to turn. Or you got to lift. You got to flip the throttle, lift a little bit. So that was a 36.8, which isn't a terrible time. I mean, you're only talking 8/10, but then the next lap I just kind of messed up. It was over 37. So let's go over the timetables. And you can see there's a lot of, you got, a lot of mid 36s. There's the fast lap, high 36s, mid 36s. It's really, stays right there. It differs only by a couple tenths, 2 to 3 tenths. And then you get near, you get 2/3 through the stint, and then it starts losing. And that's when I started gradually started turning in some of the brake bias, trying to get it to help rotate. And you can see, because the front tire, the left front would start getting hotter. So you could tell that you're understeering even more, because you would the left front would start gaining heat. And that's because it's pushing it. It's just pushing the left front. So, I mean, you can see, after I did that, I gained back up a little bit, and then I dropped again. And then, you're kind of, yinging and yanging back and forth a little bit. And, of course, that was the other lap there. And, of course, I blew that one. But it was probably going to be like this one, a 37.0. But, again, it's really hard to explain. But the best way I can explain it is you're turning into a turn, and it's not turning the way you want. So you're turning more, then all of a sudden it just goes. And then, like, the tire finally grabs, or the tire finally like it rolls over and grabs or something. It don't feel right. I don't like the way it feels at all. And it has, and of course near the end it just has so much. It gets too much understeer in it to where you can be aggressive with it. So let's go over the setup. Now again, I did not touch anything on this setup to change, or as far as the performance, other than just things that are going to be on both setups. And I wanted to try to give this setup, an equal opportunity to see what it could do. So again, the tires were all optimized to be at the right pressures, but that's it. I didn't touch anything else on this page at all. And you can see the camber is at negative 3.5. That's not massive. Now it is a little more than the AMG usually has, but still, it's not that far off. So I mean, but it's still the way it felt. So it could be because some of the negative toe. It could be, I mean, it could be lots of things. So it's something we're gonna have to figure out. Because I don't like the way it feels. And see, again, if you don't have confidence, you're not going to push. If you're not confident in a car and what it's going to do, or how it feels, you're not going to push as hard as you want to push, because obviously you're afraid that you're gonna wreck or something, or especially you get in a battle with somebody and you don't want to hit them, or you push so hard that you end up spinning it, or going off the track or whatever. Now here's the traction control. I did turn the traction control up 1. It was 2, and I turned it up to 3. So these are both 3. Really, I just did that. That's it. Fuel, I had 80 liters, of course. That's why I turned that up to. There's the tires. Now you can see there's light graining on the front, and you even have a light blister on the left front. So again, that's not really uncommon here at Zandvoort. This left side takes an absolute thrashing. I mean, these hard right-hand turns, these left side tires, especially the left front, is just destroyed. And you can see the right sides aren't too bad. I mean, they're pretty close as far as wear. It's not that bad. And then you get over here, and it's pretty far off. The left front is just, and of course what happens is it starts to understeer, and then this just starts wearing faster and faster and faster. So they might have started out close, but then once it started understeering, this will just start wearing, times 2 or times 4 compared to this, because it just you can't keep, pushing against this left front and not completely destroy it or wear it out. So that's, again, that's a hard thing to conquer here as Zandvoort. So we'll have to see if we can limit this and make it any better. Mechanical, I did not do anything here at all. No, nothing. Nothing here at all. Nothing. I can't think of, I didn't even change the brake bias, other than when I was in the doing the stint itself. I adjusted it down to 60. So that's it. Other than that, everything else here is the same. So we're going to have to go through all this stuff. I did not touch the shocks at all. Nothing on the shocks. Aero, the only thing I did on the aero was adjust the brake ducts, and that was for the tire temps. That's it. I did not adjust any ride heights, wing, nothing. So that's the front aero variation is 0.4. So that's something that we're going to have to go off of. And so again, this is just a standard aggressive setup. That's it. So like I say, we'll go ahead and start doing the tuning on the setup to try to make a custom setup, or one that's, see if we can pick up performance and mostly pick up consistency or time in over the 30-minute stint. I mean, even if you I always want to pick up performance. I mean, it'd be nice to pick up a solid, let's say, half a second. That would be great. But I mean, that's pretty good times for me if you were running mid 35s. But I mean, even if you only pick up a tenth or two, like 35/8 or 9s, but let's say you run it, let's say if you can keep it to where it's running, basically a half or 3/4 of a second off, and you gain time over 30 minutes. You might gain a couple seconds. You might gain 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So that's the thing I look at, because that's how you win races, and that's how you get top 3 finishes. That's how you're able to complete races, because the car is more driver friendly also. So again, let's try and start that, and of course we'll start fresh. So let's get going.